Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. This is the music. It tells you you're here in the right spot. Hey, welcome. Glad to have you here. If your first time here, well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Dave. I'm really happy to have you here. We talk podcasting. And I know. There's a lot of podcasts about podcasting. I get it. What makes us different? Okay, let's just start here. For a new listener to the show, I want you to feel welcome. And you're in the right place. Why is this show different than all of the other podcasts about podcasting? Well, here we don't just have a single point of view. A lot of these other shows about podcasting, as great as they are, they're generally filtered through one lens from the host perspective, what the host has tried, what they've done, what they value, what's worked for them, but really, you're getting one point of view. What this show, yes, you hear me, I'm Dave. You get to hear my thoughts on podcasting and what I'm playing with, what I'm trying, and what I'd encourage you to do on your show. Yes, you're getting that single point of view, right? But also, you get co-hosted episodes where we bring on podcasters just like you. And you're welcome to come on as well, by the way. We bring on co-hosts to come on and talk about their journey. What are they doing, which might be completely different than what I'm doing. And in that, I want you to understand there is no rules in podcasting. If you press play on a podcast about podcasting and you hear somebody say to you on an episode, here is my content rule. Here is my something is something rule. This is my main rule for you. These are the rules to follow if you're going to be a successful podcaster. That is a great indication of something for you. To hit stop. Why? Because there are no rules. And my opinion of podcasting is my opinion. It's what's working for me. The things I talk about may or may not work for you. And that's why I bring on guest co-hosts, so that I can learn what other people are doing in this space. And we learn in community. There's wisdom in the counsel of many. And I think that's something that we do different here on this show. And so the fact that you're here, I'm glad you're here. Awesome. Now, there's a problem which I want you to have in the future. Yes, I'm going to give you a problem. And I can't wait for this to be a reality for you, because right now it's a reality for me. And I'm longing for the day when you have this problem. You want to know what it is? Well, then let's jump in. Somebody a long time ago told me, if somebody has a problem with you, you are, to some degree, part of the problem. Now, I know that might hurt your feelings. And I know you're like, wait a minute. It could simply be that you're in the general vicinity of a person who's having a bad day. You just happen to be alive and in the same location. That's it. They don't know you. You don't know them. But you're there and you get it. They come after you. Could be. Have you ever driven a car? Have you ever been on a road and somebody pulls up beside you and they're just having a meltdown? Yeah. It happens. So keep it in mind that this is something that can really mess with you. If people have a problem with you, you are, to some degree, part of the problem. Now, Dave, what's the problem that people are having with you? And what is this problem that you want to bestow on me as a podcaster? The problem is, you ready? When you have too many episodes. A lot of episodes. I know this episode says episode 419, but by the time you add in all the Daily Daves and all of the other things and the special things that we do on the show, we are well over 500 episodes. Some numbered up to 419 for this episode, but unnumbered episodes in addition to, there's a lot of episodes here. And for you, as a new person coming to the show, it's a little overwhelming. You're expecting me to go back and listen to all 419 plus episodes? 500 episodes? Who do you think I am? Well, I'm the type of person who would do that. Just so you know, I love going back and and following the journey of my favorite podcaster. I generally listen to the more recent ones first, and then I start getting curious and I want to go back. So that's what I do as a listener. You may do that, you may not do that, which is fine. But what happens when you have so many episodes, so many great guests on the show, so many topics where you're like, when I come to new content and a new podcaster, I don't know where to start. I feel overwhelmed, and I'm afraid that some people might back out of the door and leave because they don't know where to start. They're just like, there's too many options. I need to back away. So what I'm doing on this show with over 500 episodes, on my Living the Next Chapter podcast, over 500 episodes, is for those two shows in particular, because I have so much content, is I'm coming up with a way to create a digital online magazine. You know, like the magazines that you see at the checkout counter while you're waiting to check out, and you stand there with all of the, our Americans would call them candy bars. Here in Canada, they're called chocolate bars. But all the treats and chips and all the things, and these magazines, you know, oh, Prince Harry did it again. Oh, you stand there reading, right? Magazines. I'm creating an online magazine for the How to Podcast series, and I'm creating an online magazine for Living the Next Chapter. If you want an example of what this looks like as an early example, I've created a new show called the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine. It's a thing. It's called CanadianPodcaster.com, and it's an online magazine where we do a monthly episode, a monthly edition, and an accompanying podcast. But you can go online at CanadianPodcaster.com and you can see this magazine in real time. It's a page that it's a real page turner. You can flip the pages and go forward, backwards, and everything in the magazine is clickable. All the images, there's links, and everything clicks out from there and takes you places. So the idea in this is to create something that is highly shareable, accessible online. It's not an email newsletter. It's more interactive than that because you get to click and play. And it groups episodes together so that you can find things by topic better. So for my Living the Next Chapter podcast, my author podcast, I've had authors on who do children's books. I've had authors on who do business books. I've had authors on who are veterans. I've had authors on who talk about mental health, physical health. I've had authors on that speak to men. I have authors that speak to women. I've had people who talk about gaslighting. I have topics about everything. I've had Hollywood actors on and people who write for Netflix and for movies. I've had superstars that walk red carpets. So I'm creating these separate online magazines similar to CanadianPodcaster.com. And these online magazines are living, breathing documents that I create. And when I have a new guest who fits into one of these buckets or magazines, I simply add a new page and everything's done. It's this living, breathing document. And what it helps is when somebody comes to my show and they're like, I'm really interested for the author podcast, I'm interested in historical fiction. I love historical fiction. Oh, here's a magazine of all of the guests who have been on Dave's show, Living the Next Chapter, who talk or write about historical fiction. Awesome. Or I'm an author and I want to know about other authors in my space who write about business or mental health, mindfulness, whatever. There's going to be separate magazines grouped together by the topic of what the authors are writing. It's highly shareable. Like I said, it's something that brings people to the website and then clicks out from there to that specific episode so that you're not overwhelmed by over 500 episodes going, I don't even know where to start. There's another thing that I'm doing in addition to this, and it is going to be included in the magazines as well, is I'm creating a playlist, just like the magazine, the online magazine at CanadianPodcaster.com as an example, I'm going to create a playlist of all of the episodes from that grouping on Spotify. I'm also going to create a podcast playlist on YouTube so that when you go to my Living the Next Chapter website or to my Living the Next Chapter YouTube page, you'll see the main podcast with all of the episodes all together. Have at it. Then you'll also see a breakout of the different categories. And it's something that I'm building in the background. So if you want to see me build it in real time, head over to livingthenextchapter.com or go to my YouTube channel for Living the Next Chapter, and you'll see this being built out in front of you. I'm not done. I'm in the middle of it. So if you want to see it as an inspiration for you, maybe this will work for your show, especially when you have a ton of episodes. Now you're like, Dave, I've got 3 episodes. Well, what about starting now? Because I have to go back in time and redo this from episode 1 to episode 555 right now for Living the Next Chapter. It's a lot of work to go back in time and redo all of the behind the scenes. I would suggest you do this now. Simply, I would suggest in the episode show notes that would show on your phone, like you're looking at your phone right now, at the very bottom, after you have all your links and you have all your whatevers and blah, 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 your call to action and your guest link and your website link at the bottom, just put in, if it's an author podcast, put in children's books. If it's a children's author, put in business book. If it's a business book, you know what I mean? Put in your topic at the bottom as you're doing your editing and recording and uploading. Just put it in there so that when you do want to do this in the future, you have some kind of category that this content, this episode fits into this group. Think of file folders. You know how you have a file folders in your filing cabinet? Do you still do that? Maybe. File folders have this little spot at the top where you can put the name of what's in that file folder. Same thing. You're going to create playlists, which are basically file folders or buckets, and you're going to label them so that you can put all of these episodes and future episodes into the right buckets. Now, another little tip is when you meet with your guest during the pre-chat, because you're going to talk to them, right? Yes, when you talk to them before you hit record, ask them if they're an author. What kind of genre is your book? Oh, my book is historical fiction. My book is romance. My book is business. My book is accounting. My book is whatever. And then make note of it right then before you even hit record. They've already told you where their books fit, right? It's poetry. Okay, good. So I'm going to have a magazine for poetry. See what I'm saying? And I'm going to have a playlist for poetry. So if you're interested in poetry and you come to the Living the Next Chapter podcast, 555 episodes right now, you can simply go, oh my gosh, I just want to know poetry. I'm not interested in these other genres or formats. I just want poetry. Dave. And you can go right to the website, click the link, and here's all of the poetry writers together in one location. Right? Doesn't that make sense? So when you have tons of episodes, tons and tons and tons, or you have 2, you can start this in the process right now and build this up over time so that when you do get to the point when you run into this huge problem where you got too much content, oh my gosh, would you slow down with the content already? You have a plan because you've been working on it from day one. And that's my encouragement for you, is to come up with a plan now as a new podcaster, fresh out of the gate. And if you have been sending your audience to a huge group of podcasts and just like, well, there you go, here's the link to the whole thing, you might be overwhelming your audience and you might not be getting the results you're hoping for simply by sending them to this massive catalog of content. It's overwhelming. There's just too much. So keep that in mind. This is my idea for my show. And I'm curious, if you have a lot of episodes, what are you doing to curate that content? What are you doing to capture that? And how are you communicating this to your audience? I'd love to hear your thoughts. By leveraging podcasts and playlists, that combination, to organize your podcast back catalog. This is so powerful as a way for you to help listeners quickly find the content that matches what they're interested in the moment, especially when your library is so big. Playlist group similar topics, themes, and guest types together, making your podcast more accessible and binge-worthy. People will then find it, and instead of listening to 555 episodes of things they may or may not want to be listening to, they can focus and hyper-focus on the exact content that serves them. It's a great way to build that bridge with your audience, again, when you have a lot of content. So where can we create and share podcast playlists? So beyond YouTube, simple to do. We just create a new playlist and you just put a little check mark, add this episode to this specific playlist. That's simple. Spotify, same thing. Group the episodes together, put them in a playlist, and now you have a shareable link to that playlist in addition to the entirety of everything that you've done through Spotify. Those are great to share. You can also then share. There's Podbean is a platform that allows you to, for both audio and video playlists. You can connect your Podbean to your podcast feed and your website. Vimeo is another option as well. Great for high quality video podcast playlists. Daily Motion, I've never used this one, but Daily Motion supports video uploads and playlist creation. There's also Twitch. Again, I've never used Twitch, but people have told me about Twitch. Ideal for live and pre-recorded podcast content with playlist-like collections for episodes. There's Wista and Sprout Video. These offer advanced playlist features. All this is in the show notes, by the way. There's also Listen Later by Listen Notes, which lets you curate podcast episode playlists and provides an RSS feed that listeners can add to their podcast app, making it easy to share themed collections. Acast, Buzzsprout, Podomatic. These podcast platforms offer playlist and episode grouping features, plus embeddable web players for your site. So that's where else, in addition to YouTube and Spotify. I would just start with YouTube and Spotify for now. And if you had a choice between the two, for me, I would say YouTube first. Because my podcast is connected through my hosting site and an audio version goes to YouTube directly. And if you're like, well, that's a bad idea, it doesn't work. Well, I've now have over 2,000 listen hours watch time on YouTube for my Living the Next Chapter podcast. So to all you that say that it doesn't work, it does. So anyways, my YouTube strategy differs from so many other people in that I don't care about growing. Well, I do care. I'm not focused on growing my YouTube channel and monetizing. That's not my focus. YouTube for me, and you'll hear me say this if you're new, you'll hear me say this in the future. YouTube is not something that I'm trying to grow. It's simply a glorified, shareable drive where all my stuff is and where I can potentially be found. And 2,000 watch hours is nothing to sneeze at. So there you go. Where to promote your playlists? Okay, so I talked to you about the magazine. You can, again, see an example of an online page-turner magazine on CanadianPodcaster.com. Even if you're not Canadian, you can still go there. Okay, we're not going to keep you out. But go check it out. On top of that magazine idea that I'm working on, your podcast playlist that you create, again, YouTube and Spotify would be my first two I would suggest. Put them in your show notes. So when you have an author, for example, my author show, if I have a new children's author on, in the show notes, I'm going to have a clickable link to the playlist of all my other children author podcasts. And simply say, if you love this author and you love children's book, click here for the playlist of all of the other authors who have ever been on the show who write children's books. Right? You're there, you're listening, you're watching, you're part of the podcast. And at the end, it's like, it's recommended. That really works well. Put it in your show notes, your episode notes, whether on YouTube or on an audio app, wherever you are. Put a little link in there and call it out. Say, if you love this, then you might want to try this. YouTube is really good at that, right? At the end of every video, what do? Pop-up thing. Hey, click here, click here, click here to keep going. Put it in your show notes. That's a great place to put your playlist link. Another one would be on your website or in blogs. Create a dedicated playlist tab or a Start Here section on your website and embed the players in that playlist onto your website. Great. Social media. I know everybody's like, don't put links, outside links into your Instagram, for example, but they have a sticker where it says link. So if it's true you should never send somebody outside of Instagram, then why do they have a sticker called link? Makes no sense to me, you experts. But do that. Do a post, talk about the playlist, have a link to it, link it out, and then favorite that story so that it goes into a folder on your main page and you don't lose it after 24 hours. Just hit the little heart button and it'll go into the playlist, on your Instagram feed. Great, right? So use social media. Use those stickers that say link. It works. Also, your email newsletter would be a great place to feature any of your playlists and give you a topic idea for future newsletter content is to call out your playlist. You can also use podcast directories. Some directories like Apple Podcasts and Listen Notes allow you to create and share curated lists of collections. And then community groups as well. Share your playlists in relevant online communities, forums, groups where your target audience gathers. It works. And I'm excited to see you try this, especially if you have a ton of episodes, like a crap ton of episodes. It's something that's going to help your audience to not only find what they're looking for, but stick around. And I don't see a lot of podcasters doing this. I see podcasters sending their audience to the entirety of what they do or to a specific episode, but grouping them, I'm not seeing this very much. So if you want to be ahead of the curve and do this for your show, then you need to start now. Now, if you've been doing this forever and I don't know, then tell me, SpeakPipe on my website, tell me about it. I want to see what you're doing. I want to share it as well. Let me know over on howtopodcast.ca. As we wrap up, by creating and promoting playlists across multiple platforms, you make it easier for your listeners to discover and enjoy your content. Take these playlists and promote them in your show notes on your website, across social media, to maximize the reach and listener engagement. And remember, every episode, whether you have 2 episodes or 555 episodes, someone's going to walk through the door for the first time. They don't know you. They haven't heard any of your past episodes. They don't know anything about what you do. Somebody sent them. Somehow they found you. They're here. And when they see episode 555, they're like, am I missing something if I don't listen to the other 554 episodes? Am I okay to start here and go forward? Don't make it difficult for people. Make it super easy. And try the online magazine. It's built on Canva. Try the playlists, like on YouTube and Spotify, as a way of grouping your stuff together. It could simply be, I do a podcast episode where I have a guest, and I have a podcast episode where it's just me. Those are 2 playlists, the guest episodes and the solo episodes. There's your starting point. Just in that alone. That's a great way to kind of do that. If you have a travel podcast, you could have a podcast playlist for your country. You could have your podcast playlist by state or province, where we are in Canada. You could have it by amusement or food or attractions or must-see or whatever. You could have fall, winter, spring, summer. You could have all different types of playlists. And grouping things together just makes it easier for your audience. If you were new to your content and you walk through the door, what's your experience today? Do you feel overwhelmed when you see all of those episodes? Or do you know that you're in the right place? You feel welcomed. you feel like the content is geared to you, or do you have to adjust to the content? I think we're doing a disservice to our audience if we're asking them to fit into the podcast. I think the podcast needs to fit into the lives of our listeners and viewers. That's more important. So what can you do beyond creating great content, showing up, communicating with your audience, and being in community and all the things you do? What can you do to make it easier as your podcast episode library grows over time? And if you're just starting your show, this is the problem I can't wait for you to cross. And hopefully, this is going to help you in the future to start planning now, so that when you get to that point where you have 500 episodes, however long that takes, you'll be in a good spot because you have thought through how you're going to deal with people coming to your show for the first time, giving them creative options that make it super easy to find the content they're interested in without having to wade through your entire library and figure out where they need to go next. Every episode's not going to land. Every content that you do, every topic you cover is not going to fit everyone. So if you can group them together in smaller, bite-sized chunks, I think you're going to get better engagement. And it naturally, if you find somebody who's interested in a certain thing and you give them their thing in a more concise manner, their ability to binge it, fall in love with it, and then maybe move to another grouping that you have, you might see some benefits and some uplift as you send people back into your catalog. Like episode 555 of Living the Next Chapter, episode 3 is great. Episode 10 is great. Episode 45 is great. How do I send people back into the catalog but not overwhelm them in the process? Create the playlist, try the online magazine or something similar, and I would love to hear your thoughts. How are you directing traffic as people come to your podcast, brand new, never heard of you, never listened to an episode, first time through the door? How do you not overwhelm them? What are you doing? What have you tried? What works? What doesn't work? Tell me over at howtopodcast.ca. And if you want to come on the show as a guest co-host to talk about your podcast journey, we can ask each other questions. We can go back and forth. You can share your show, get new listeners. Please reach out anytime, howtopodcast.ca. It's right there for you. I'd love to have you on the show. Thanks for listening. And look and watch as I continue to build in the background these online magazines and the playlist. Please go check out livingthenextchapter.com and you'll see what I'm doing right now specific to that show, and more of that coming to the How to Podcast series as well. Thanks for listening. Take care. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal, and you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar, and I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link, set up time in my calendar, and in the comments section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need the show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast. so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening.